As if the world's biggest heavy metal band wasn't big enough, in their new film, Metallica Through the Never, James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, and Robert Trujillo are blown up to epic size in IMAX 3D. What were you going for with that?
Poverty. We're going for poverty. Yeah, let's bankroll our own movie, 3D and IMAX. Yeah.
Since this cost a lot of money.
Okay. All right.
We're putting our necks out there.
Have you seen yourself in 3D yet?
I have.
And?
I look way better. Way better.
I look much better in 1D.
No, nothing else matters.
In the rock world, of course, Metallica is already epic. The colossus of heavy metal, one of the most successful bands of all time, with 8 Grammys, 5 straight #1 albums, and 110 million records sold. Hetfield, the lead singer and guitarist, has a motto tattooed on his fingers.
Riff life, that's me. You know, the riff. It's all about the riff. That's where the song starts.
But when he and Ulrich formed the band in the LA suburbs in 1981, they were an unlikely pair. The Danish-born Ulrich had hoped to be a tennis player, like his father.
At one point, the Davis Cup team of Denmark consisted of my dad and my uncle, and my granddad as the captain. So Ulrich was very much a kind of a tennis dynasty in Denmark, so of course I was going to continue in that tradition.
When that didn't work out, he turned to music. That's how he found Hetfield, who picked up the guitar as a teenager after his father, who owned a trucking company, left the family.
You and James met through an ad.
Yes, the recycler. 7-Eleven, free of charge, primarily automobiles, but in the back there were, you know, musicians seeking bands and bands seeking musicians.
So what did you think when you first met him?
I had never met somebody from Denmark, yet let alone Europe, you know, and he talked funny and he smelled funny. As simple as that, you know.
Well, we're so different from each other, and you know, James is very, very shy.
Lars is an extremely interesting person. It's like in his mind, he was a rock star already.
Their brainier brand of heavy metal built a following. But in 1986, on tour in Sweden, their bus skidded off the road, killing bass player Cliff Burton.
When your brother dies, I mean, he was a brother to us. When someone is killed in your camp, you're never prepared. Never.
Never free, never me. So I dump the unforgiven.
The band kept going, and in 1991, Metallica became truly massive. The Black Album would sell more than 16 million copies and help make Metallica the biggest-selling rock act of the 90s. Headquarters for the group is an inconspicuous building in San Rafael, California.
When we rehearse, my drums back there, we kind of play in a circle to each other.
Relatively wide.
The business of Metallica is organized here by a staff of a dozen workers.
They run our fan club, they run our websites, they run our merchandise. Look at this thing here.
A Metallica onesie.
Metallica's always liked to control its own destiny, which is why in 2000,
Napster hijacked our music without asking.
the band filed suit against Napster, the website that allowed fans to download music for free.
There was a pretty significant backlash against you.
Yeah. It was a very difficult time, and we took a lot of hits, and obviously I took a lot of hits, and I'm still, 15 years later, you know, Lars is the guy that sued Napster.
But what really rattled the band was the departure the following year of bass player Jason Newsted.
When Jason left, we were not equipped to fully comprehend why would Jason leave, you know, the biggest band in the world. Then the cameras were rolling.
Okay, I realize now that I barely knew you before.
And all of a sudden, life as we know it melted down.
I think you control by the rules you always set. I think you control by how you always judge people.
It was all captured in the documentary Some Kind of Monster, and got so ugly the band's management called in a therapist.
As we accomplish ultimate togetherness, we become healers of ourselves.
You guys are part of probably the most famous therapy session in rock and roll.
Cool, I guess.
Well, what was going on with you guys at that time?
Yeah. We were scared that we were so big at that point. We were so big, we didn't know what to do next. We were believing our own hype. We were swollen in the head, shrunken in the heart, I would say. We were lost.
Metallica regrouped. Hetfield took a hiatus to dry out from a drinking problem, and Trujillo was brought in as the new bass player.
My first gig was at San Quentin State Penitentiary. So that gives you an idea of, you know, it's like welcome to Metallica. You're going to play a prison.
2 years ago, the band started its own Orion Music Festival.
How about that Orion Festival? Metallica rule, baby!
Held this past summer in Detroit. It draws hardcore fans.
It's the Master of Puppets album cover.
From around the world.
Mexico loves you, Metallica.
Before taking the stage, the band gets ready in its Tuning and Attitude trailer.
This place is like our sanctuary. No one else comes in here.
For its 4 members, all parents, Metallica itself has become a kind of sanctuary. And after 32 years together, James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich, who both turned 50 this year, say this is a different band.
In the 80s and 90s, Metallica was a very military precision machine that rolled across the land and took no prisoners. And somehow in the last 10 years, we all sort of woke up and we looked in each other's eyes and talked about how much we love each other and how much we love doing what we do. And nowadays, Metallica is just kind of a joyful thing.